We need to get to those people who have actually touched the bodies or touched the crashed craft, who have seen all these things. That's the next level of these.
So, I mean, you know, from a legal standpoint, it's just hearsay. It's hearsay evidence, isn't it? What you've just said, right? The guy's got, I've got no direct involvement, but I've heard or I've talked to or I've.
And that's why you have a problem,
right? That wouldn't be admissible in court. You know, that's just not evidence. If you, it's hearsay.
Oh, it's moving faster now.
What was the urgency behind releasing this information? David Grusch was in trouble. He was in danger. Every journalist knows the best way to secure a source, to save a source, is to get the information out there as quickly as possible. Oh, okay. When did he come forward? 2021. So this is 2 years. Yeah. So we really had to work hard, and we had to get clearances, and we had to get this, and we had to get that, blah, blah, blah. Right? Okay. So now the information's out. What does this mean? Blah, blah, blah. You know, because, you know, he's in danger now, right? Because he's released this information. So then it cuts to Ralph Blumenthal, and Ralph Blumenthal says, no, nothing he released was classified. You know, this guy was in danger. He's releasing information that someone doesn't want out there, and he was in danger. We need to get him out there, right? So, right, okay, there's an urgency. And then he released nothing but classified information. It was already unclassified. Is it me? Am I seeing something wrong with this picture?
So everybody will, you know, chew that whole hearing apart and really understand what we have to do next in the next hearing. Like, and unfortunately, they cannot release classified information publicly. So all the people that were involved with that hearing will go into this skiff, you know, with David and the pilots and so on. So they will be aware of what's classified, but ultimately the classified information cannot be released unless the government allows it to be released.
I get that, right? And I also get that. I mean, you know, it's a side topic, right? But the government work for the people, and so the government has the right to keep certain information classified until it is no longer needed to be classified. Then it can be released, right? So if it still poses a threat to national security, it's still got reasons, blah blah blah. But as I understand it, Congress have told these people that they need to disclose this information. There's been various orders made, right? So they need to disclose this information so that the public can be aware. And they also have ordered them to make available information about disinformation and debunking campaigns that they've run, so that the truth can come out. That's as far as I understand it.
And the other thing that came out yesterday was that really they've been overclassifying. This was very obvious. They've been overclassifying since Roswell. And that's what everybody's really annoyed about, is like, yes, we all agree things that need to be classified in government, you know, national defense, you know, vis-a-vis your enemy. Yes, we agree with that. But you're going way overboard. You know, the whole idea we are, you know, not alone in the universe. They know that information and they're not disclosing it. That doesn't need to be classified. You know, things we need to know as, you know, humanity around all of these issues. They're keeping all that as classified. So I think now this is what's going to happen, Gary, is they're calling them on it, and they're going to lay down rules, more specific rules on what needs to be classified. And we all agree, yes, no problem. Keep that classified. But all this other information around it, that needs to be released. There's no reason it should be classified. It does not pose a threat for national security. It poses a threat in the idea that it's keeping us in the dark. We as humans, what we should know about whether we're alone or not in the universe.
Where we need to be protected, where they do not give away secrets to the enemy about certain technologies and so on and so forth, we consent. It's a contractual agreement between us and the government that they keep those things, and we agree to that. But when they keep secrets from us that are not only our right to know as human beings, but also they had no business in keeping them secret, right? Because it's just not the thing. It's not the agreement we made.
It's a power trip for them.
Exactly. And when you realise that has been going on for 70 years, that numerous amounts of people really, really eminent scientists I've read about over the years that have been discredited and so on and so forth. This is a serious issue to our history of 70 years. You know, there's pieces of information that are said by different researchers. It doesn't mean you agree with the entirety of what they say, but there's different things, and you go, that's relevant, right? You know, this is big story for humanity. One of the things about crop circle research is that ufology sees crop circles as a part of ufology. But as a crop circle researcher, I don't see it like that. I'm a crop circle researcher, and I know lots and lots of ufologists because that's the field, right? The ufologists come to film the crop circles like yourselves. And so I've worked with Jaime Maussan, I've worked with Ajay Chevalier, and I've got to know Peter Robbins and loads of different names I could drop, right? And it's great, it's interesting, I'm thrilled by it, but it's not crop circle research. Crop circle research is different, as you'll see. When we go to see a crop circle, they're there. You can walk in them. You can study the symbols. You can say, well, what does this symbol mean? You know, what are its measurements? What are its proportions? There are so many differences that we could discuss about crop circles as opposed to ufology. So I wanted to make that clear, actually. You know, even though we're discussing ufology, right, which I find really a fascinating subject, and I dip in because I know these people, I'm a crop circle researcher, and that's where my, if I can say, dare to say, expertise.
It is so big.
Yeah.
And this is what they got into yesterday too, that he didn't want it to be nailed down into a sort of a box because they refer to it as a phenomenon because there's so many sides to this that, you know, overlaps. And is it interconnected or not? Or is it two different things? Or, you know, we don't know. We got involved in this, Gary, based on lights in the sky. But it leads you into all these other things. And all of these things start happening in your experiences.
John Keel, in, I think it's called Trojan Horse, a famous UFO book from the 1970s, said, the mystery lies not with the lights in the sky, but with our reaction to them, right? And that fascinated me, right? When I got that aha, right? Because I realised that with crop circle studies, there was this A subject, right? A phenomena A with the crop circles. And there was phenomena B, right? With everybody around them and how people and the media and everybody reacted to them, right? And then I realised there's this crossover with the UFO studies in regards to that, right? How do people react to stuff they can't fit into their paradigm? How do we deal with it? What happens? And then what happens if we kind of like go with it to us? What happens then? And what you're describing is that, right? Because you've gone with it, right? You've gone around the world and you've filmed these things and you said, look, I'm accepting these things are a part of my reality, right? I don't know what they are, I don't know where they come from.
We have witnesses.
Because it can bring about that much self-doubt if you're on your own, this phenomena, that you can question your own sanity. And other people will go, oh, you're just mad. They'll confirm it for you. So they will. So if you've got other people with you, witnesses, you go like, yeah, we saw it. Okay, all right. And so and there's millions, isn't there? There's millions of people worldwide who, when you talk to them, right, in private and when they feel safe, they kind of come out and go, I've seen something. Everybody's got a story to tell, really, but because the kind of paradigm of, oh, you know, you've got to be associated with crazy if you say this kind of stuff, is only just starting to come away, isn't it, with the media now, where people even, die-hard skeptics are going, oh, okay, maybe there is something. Because when it does happen to you, and then you know it happens to other people that have kind of said, I accept this as my reality and gone down that road as well, then you can have conversations about it. And some of the conversations we've had is like, is it to do with our need for control, and this intelligence, this other intelligence, kind of wants us to explore and know ourselves better for the fact that we're restricting our view of what's possible and what's around us because of our need to control our reality. And so if things all go wrong and we kind of let go of it and then things happen, we realise there's something else about it. Maybe we can lay things on the table, all these ideas, once we accept there's a reality to it, and then start chatting about them. And that's really cool. That's what I like about this subject, is that when you get to a certain point, you go, right, there is something. Right, now we can speculate. We've tied ourselves down and we've anchored ourselves so that we don't fall off the cliff. And we can now put cards on the table and ideas, and everything goes. And then we can try and start working on some hypotheses. I was lucky that, I had good teachers along the way who said, discernment and humility are keys to growth, really. And so you want to become more discerning, to be like understanding of arguments and how to critically analyze them and understand logical fallacies in arguments and so on and so forth. That's practical. But you also want to keep your feet on the ground. You don't want to get lost and jump into your own biases and your own hypotheses. You need people that you can trust, that you can bounce off of, and build a way that you can move forward into this completely unknown reality that's different to what we've talked about. But at the same time, live in the real world, pay your bills, go to the shops and eat your food, and do you know what I mean? And all that, because it's nuts, isn't it? It's crazy stuff.